The undergraduate major here at the Woodrow Wilson School is one thing that really sets us apart from other policy schools. And we think it's something that makes the undergraduate experience quite special here at Princeton.
I think these students who choose the Woodrow Wilson School are interested in policy. They're engaging with these questions about how can you change the world, whether it's improving education outcomes or bringing peace and stability to regions of conflict. So they're highly motivated students engaged with these policy questions.
So my interests lie in international development in Africa specifically. And in looking at how I wanted to tackle that problem, I knew that I'd have to use multiple perspectives, not just economics, but also political, science, anthropology, sociology, and all these other facets. And the Woodrow Wilson School really allowed me to marry all these different academic perspectives into this one topic of international development.
It's very multidisciplinary. So particularly when I'm studying environmental policy, there's a lot of different things involved. First of all, there's the environmental science aspect, but there's also the policy aspect, and a lot of that has to do with foreign policy. So if you're studying something like climate change, there's a lot of international relations going on.
Woodrow Wilson School has a really first-rate faculty, the top academics and top people in their fields. The real value of bringing in practitioners is to provide students not only with a great education about what the textbooks say, but also some real-world experience from people who've been there, who've been in Washington, who've had to think about policy and have had to execute it.
The Woodrow Wilson School is fairly unique in that all of its faculty hold joint appointments in a primary discipline as well as in the school itself. Therefore, they can bring some of the broader insights from their disciplines, their fields, into the Woodrow Wilson School teaching, and I think that that's of benefit to the students. Vice versa, we often take the grounded insights from the work on the practical side of public management back to our disciplines, and I think that enriches the disciplines as well.
All public policy, if it doesn't, it ought to have a very strong research base. And those research bases can come from sociology, from history, from economics, from political analysis, from psychology, from leadership studies. And so what we're trying to do is to teach our students that there is a strong empirical and theoretical foundation, the kind of thinking that ought to go into public policy.
We really encourage the students to think about the policy question from multiple perspectives. And so they will get training in history, political science, economics, psychology, and when they're studying something such as a diplomatic crisis, it will draw on these various perspectives.
In designing the courses, I try to select topics that are not only integral to the subject matter, that also are in play in the real world.
One unique feature of the Woodrow Wilson School's undergraduate major is the undergraduate task force, which enables and even requires students to formulate policy as undergraduates. The task force has a particular policy challenge, and the students each take on a piece of that policy challenge, and they come together with a set of policy recommendations that they then present to policymakers.
I don't think there's any other school that gives students the ability to work closely with a faculty member with expertise in a particular policy area. And in my case, created a client that wasn't just a hypothetical client, but was the Department of Children and Families in the state of New Jersey.
My particular topic was looking at crossover youth, which are children who enter both the foster care and the juvenile justice systems, and looking at how you could create a continuum of care for them.
My policy task force was focused more on specifically the Arab Spring itself and the revolutions, and it was kind of right after the fall of Egypt. So, things were changing day to day, and, Ambassador Kurtzer himself would come in and say, oh, we need to talk about this, it just happened in the news. And so it was kind of up to the minute real policy making, and it was just fascinating.
I got to take a task force with Professor Slaughter on 21st century statecraft, and that was definitely one of the best experiences I've had at the school. It was very eye-opening, and it was very hands-on, so we were able to present at the State Department and really feel as if what we were studying was making a difference. I studied abroad in Hong Kong in my junior year. It was a great chance to experience firsthand what you're studying. So I was studying cross-boundary air pollution mitigation between Hong Kong and Guangdong province in the mainland.
So the Woodrow Wilson School provides really great on-the-ground research opportunities in terms of funding and other kinds of resources. So I was able to go to Sierra Leone the summer before my senior year for 2 months, and then I was also able to get senior thesis funding for intersession for about 10 days.
For me, there are many kinds of leaders. There are leaders who run organizations, there are leaders who hold elective office, there are thought leaders. And for me, the young people produced by this school have that potential.
We take undergraduates who are not just going to become the best in a particular discipline in economics, politics, or empirical methods, but we encourage them and almost demand of them to become the best and develop the skills in all of those areas. Even if they don't spend their entire careers in the public sector, they take a little piece of the appreciation of the complexity and importance of public service into their adult lives.